What's going on, everyone? James, the Carnivore Florida Man Simons, coming at you. Gonna get into the next video, April 2nd. I'll see you guys there. What's going on, everyone? James, the Carnivore Florida Man Simons, coming at you. Today is April 2nd, going into day 54 of the Carnivore Diet. Still feeling great, still feeling good. Still going for walks. I know in the state of Florida they put a stay-at-home act, but A, you should be keeping your distance. B, you need to be washing your hands, trying to stay healthy and staying away from other people if you do think you have something. But three, the act still says you can go outside and go for walks, guys. If you can still go outside, I'm not saying you have to go to a path or go hiking, but so you can still be outside. Don't take away all the sunshine and just Netflix and chill. God, for how knows how much longer? I mean, the stay-at-home act in Florida, I know, till the end of April now. God bless the people in New York. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. I used to live in New York, up way above near Syracuse, when I was stationed at Fort Drum, and I've been to New York City, and I don't know. I couldn't even imagine what those people are going through. I mean, I really hope that everyone there is doing as best as they can. Prayers sent to you. So let's get straight into this. Going into part 7 of Fat, a documentary.
To me that a radical restructuring of our policies and priorities is absolutely necessary.
Just water's on now.
Senator Kennedy died at 1:44 this evening.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Such a crazy time. Beatles break up, president assassinated, brother assassinated, landing on the moon, people thinking we didn't land on the moon, conspiracy theories, Watergate, Nixon, Vietnam.
1972 comes around and we have Watergate. People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Yes, he was. Yes, he is.
Diet. No one was really paying attention to this McGovern committee. Yeah, we had bigger problems.
Yep.
This complacency at the time is what allowed these health myths to seep in.
Okay, so this is actually, hold on, we'll pause. Okay, the gentleman you just heard talking, this was an old promotional video made where college students pretended to be different organs, the heart, liver, fatty cells, so on and so forth. And the gentleman actually speaking at the booth is represented as fat. And it's kind of a combination, it's like a skit pretty much, if you think about it. He's supposed to be portraying fat and how delicious all those fatty things are, and then, the rest of the body's combating against him, saying you're bad, fat, F you.
All sorts of delicious things. Greasy bacon, ketchup, French fried potatoes.
Not the same thing.
And gobs of butter.
Nope.
Us fat different deal. This little guy. But put us all together, and what do you have?
You have millions of calories, that's what. I have to store those calories as fat, and I can't take it anymore. I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And the bigger he gets, the harder his heart
His
cells
heart.
have to work. Mr. Fat, you're a real killer.
I don't know the answer, but why is it whenever a new study comes out, it's always talking about how food is going to kill you?
Healthy eating can kill you.
That's a misdirection to what we should be focused on. Food should be used to prevent illness, not to just help reverse it once it's
Exactly.
delayed. One of the areas we haven't talked about until recently is how food can affect your brain health.
I became
Food for
interested in
thought.
mental health and the connection between mental health and diet after I had developed a lot of my own health problems and had changed my diet and discovered
Dr. George
that
Eddy.
diet had a lot more to do with health and mental health than I had ever been taught that it had. In my early 40s, about 10 years ago, I developed a number of mysterious symptoms that I think a lot of people, especially middle-aged women, will identify with. So things like chronic pain, fibromyalgia, IBS, chronic fatigue, migraines, lots of different symptoms that all of my very smart Harvard-affiliated doctors couldn't help me with. After about 6 months of trial and error, I arrived at this diet that was completely upside down from what I had been taught was good for me. It was basically a mostly meat diet, high in meat and fat and cholesterol. And when I arrived at that diet, all of the symptoms that I've been struggling with completely went away. And I thought, this diet actually is also improving my mental health. And I'm a psychiatrist. The most powerful way to change your brain chemistry would be through food, because that's where brain chemicals come from in the first place. If you're getting most of your sugar and most of your glucose from the outside of the body, you run the risk of getting spikes, peaks and troughs in your blood sugar and insulin level, and those can destabilize brain chemistry. So those can create mood swings, insomnia, irritability, changes in appetite throughout the course of the day. When you eat a ketogenic diet, you're using fat primarily for energy, and the brain is using, to a large extent, ketones instead of glucose.
Today, if you're anywhere near Google, you will learn that this is known as dietary ketosis.
Ketosis.
Most healthcare professionals are familiar with ketoacidosis, and that's
Dr. Jeffrey Gerber.
The body is out of control. Diabetes is out of control.
Yes.
Blood glucose is through the roof. Insulin is not able to keep up with this glucose derangement, and so that's a life-threatening state when you're a type 2 diabetic out of control. Nutritional ketosis is quite a different scenario. Blood sugars are absolutely under control. The patient is healthy in every single way. Electrolytes, insulin, glucose, perfectly controlled. We have now trained the body to switch over from burning carbohydrate as the primary fuel. Now the individual becomes fat adapted, and they use fat as the primary source of energy, and that's really the difference between a very unhealthy and a very healthy state.
And see right there what he says. Brought up earlier when they actually did the all meat diet. He said he started eating lean meats the entire beginning of the experiment. And then he started to get sick. And it's because he realized he needed a fattier cut. That's why a lot of people that actually do the carnivore diet add like bacon, or they have like ribeye is pretty much the biggest one. It's a big, juicy, fatty cut. The same as if you're going to do that ground beef. I think it's mostly 85% lean, 25% fat. That way you're still getting enough in there, because too much fat, yes, can make you fat, if you just constantly eating it. But the same as like we spoke before, you don't need to eat that much unless you're like, a high performing athlete. If you're somebody that, is just like right now, we're all quarantined. I mean, if you're not going outside and you're Netflix and chilling, you don't need the bag of chips. You don't need to be eating 3 meals a day. You don't need to be waking up and having breakfast and then lunch, and then you're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. Just drink some water, maybe have a cup of coffee, and then like wait. You don't have to eat all that, but you should be getting fat into your diet, because it's obviously been proven. Even if you go on a full carnivore diet or even a ketogenic diet, your big consumer is going to be fat. Fat is going to be the fuel, and then if you're on a carnivore diet, the protein is what's going to keep the muscle builder, and if you're an athlete, it's what's going to keep you performing at your top physical state. Fat and protein. Perfect.
We had a scientific question in the 1960s where the researchers asked the wrong question, but there were questions we needed answered.
We know that the way you gain weight is you take in more calories than you burn. And those calories can be fat or they can be carbohydrates.
And so they get this hypothesis, which sounds reasonable, that fat people get fat because they accumulate a little bit of extra calories every day. And we could get back to this by not asking how much extra calories. They don't have to really confront the problems with the hypothesis. And that becomes the theory ever since.
The history of science, once again, is full of commonsensical facts that turned out to be dead wrong when we did the science. You're certain, you use words like it proves. When you look at the data, it either isn't there or we just didn't see it in the experiment.
Speaking of experiments, here's a timeline of events that happened with the McGovern Committee. After a year of fighting for funding, the committee operated and Republicans, including future presidential candidates Joyce McGovern, Walter Mondale, and Bob Dole. The initial goal of the committee centered around hunger and malnutrition.
Hunger and malnutrition.
Legislation in 1970 with principles of free food stamps and nationwide
Food stamps.
for eligibility. It was in 1971 that the committee expanded to focus on eating habits and
And I get it, you know, they were hungry and needed food, but I mean,
it was put on hold so that McGovern could run for president. The United States to Richard Nixon, who would eventually resign and be replaced by this guy. It was back to fixing America's health.
In 1973,
73.
the Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs began to hold hearings on the American diet and heard dozens of eminent doctors and scientists
Carnivore
linking
University,
cholesterol
Iowa.
to heart disease.
Unfortunately, dietary guidelines were based on the singular focus to lower cholesterol. While we're treating heart disease by supposedly lowering bad cholesterol, we're going to help people lose weight.
If you tell a public of 215 million people what they're eating is going to kill them, they're going to probably listen. And the unintended consequence is that someone is going to step in and take advantage of these people when it doesn't work, right?
Coincidentally, drug companies were spending millions of dollars in developing drugs to target LDL.
In the 80s and 90s, a class of drugs was invented called the statins, and these drugs did lower the cholesterol very effectively, and they also were shown to lower heart disease rates.
But the question that's probably more interesting to me, that I think should be more interesting to you, is does it help you live longer?
It might reduce heart attacks by 20 or 30% at best, and it doesn't really reduce mortality much.
We like simple answers that we have treatments for, but that's not where the best evaluation and treatment for heart disease is.
It's absolutely amazing to me the trajectory of statins and low-fat diets with everything we have today stemmed from a committee that was focused on poverty and people who weren't getting enough to eat. And somehow cholesterol got into the mix thanks to Ansel Keys. And in a complete U-turn in 1974, they expanded the committee to focus on overnutrition. The very recommendations now led to people eating way too much of the wrong kind.
So if you hear that correctly, pretty much they came up with a diet plan for people in poverty that just needed food, period. And then the people that weren't getting food, are now taking the same nutritional value from all these people that are just trying to survive eating. And then it just so happens they made up a pill to help you for the crappy diet they were giving you. So also you're paying for all the crappy food, and you're paying for the crappy food that you eat with your health, and then you're buying a pill to fix your crappy health. Perfect. Glad we're caught up.
And food. So now we have just the opposite problem. We have a hunger problem. We have an obesity epidemic.
The Senate committee finally issued a set of
Dietary goals in December 1977.
The McGovern Committee issued a set of nutritional guidelines for all Americans, intended to tackle heart disease, cancers, stroke, high blood pressure, obesity. In the dietary guidelines for Americans, they recommend fewer calories, less.
Okay, so in these it lists 1 through 9. Fewer total calories, less fat, less saturated fat, less cholesterol, more polyunsaturated fat, less sugar, less salt, more fire, more starchy foods.
Fat, less saturated fat, less cholesterol, more polyunsaturated fat.
All in favor of nominating vegetable oil, say aye.
Vegetable oil is horrible.
Less sugar, less salt, more fiber, more starchy food.
The committee's original report urged Americans to reduce their risk of heart attacks by reducing their intake of cholesterol down to the equivalent of about 1 egg a day.
This great
One
experiment
egg a
we were
day.
doing with tax dollars seemed to have one idea repeated over and over. Cholesterol is bad. Cholesterol is bad on its own or in conjunction with other things.
One way to look at it is saturated fats are healthy when you're not eating carbohydrates, or that saturated fat was never unhealthy all along. But that gets you into the realm of you're telling people that what they believe is wrong.
So, did you hear that? Let's go back. Go back real fast.
Original report urged Americans to reduce their risk of heart attacks by reducing their intake of cholesterol down to the equivalent of about 1 egg a day.
This great experiment we were doing with tax dollars seemed to have one idea repeated over and over. Cholesterol is bad. Cholesterol
not
or
eating.
that saturated fat was never unhealthy all along. But that gets you into the realm of you're telling people that what they believe is wrong.
As time has gone on, both doctors and scientists have done their own experiments.
As a software engineer, I look a lot at networks. Networks are basically objects talking to each other. And a lot of understanding a network is kind of like understanding a brain. No one cell in the brain controls your whole body. And actually, cholesterol is part of a larger network of objects and how it is that they can move about to provide us what we need.
Another thing we don't talk about is how complicated the human body is. For the government to even recommend what you should be eating in the first place is one thing, but for them to do it in such a simplistic way is another. You know, there were certain scientists that had some hypotheses.
Okay, we're gonna pause it there. We're almost done. No, not really. We're only at 56 minutes and 36 seconds. The total movie is an hour and 35, but I wanted to pause it here. Um, yeah, like he's about to get into, the human body is so complicated. There's no exact perfect science for each person. Like I said in the last video, somebody can be really good at just eat. I mean, I've seen it. There's people that can just eat and eat and eat and eat, and it's perfectly fine. And maybe they have a fast metabolism. Maybe their body is just better worked at storing food and getting rid of excess food and stuff like that. There are some people that are like professional eaters, and it's like their job. And some of them are ripped. It just all depends on who the person is. But not every single person is going to be able to consume a crap ton of sugar and carbohydrates and think that they're going to have a good life. So the whole thing is, I mean, it shouldn't be so simplified. It should be a little complicated. It should be a little irritating. I mean, I know that I get irritated all the time, constantly trying to figure out how to lose more weight, constantly trying to figure out, okay, how much meat did I eat today? Did I have enough fat today? Did I go for a long enough walk? Am I tired? Should I have an ice bath? Should I take a hot shower? I mean, it's complicated, and sometimes I do get frustrated, but it's supposed to be a part of life. You know, life shouldn't be that easy. I mean, if it was, we wouldn't be in the problem we're in now. You know, I mean, for whatever rumors is, this virus came from, probably just human nature. Just one accident, and look where we're at. And it's sad because we're not ready for it. Even though, when did the Spanish flu happen? 1918? I think I just read it. think I just watched an interview from someone who actually survived it. And still, again, we're right back in the same scenario. Government lying, trying to keep people at ease. I mean, I know that like being from like the government background, there's certain things that you can't say and you can't do. But I mean, like this is such a huge epidemic. I mean, we're kind of just at the need of everybody around us. So the dieting should be a little complicated and it should be somewhat easy, but it seems like we overcomplicate it. Just make sure you're getting enough where you're hungry, but make sure you're not overeating. I mean, you shouldn't be eating to the point where you're just miserable, and you shouldn't have hungry. You shouldn't have that hangry feeling. That hangry feeling that we made up was because we had a lack of sugar or a lack of carbohydrates. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, that's what it is. Since I've been on this diet, I haven't had those feelings. Even when I'm hungry, I'm not angry. I'm not agitated or aggressive. I'm just like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. I should go eat. And that's it. That's all it should be. We shouldn't have all these necessary videos of people freaking out because they're so hungry and starving. Ah, yeah. I'll leave it at that, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for another part. But yeah, like I always say, just if I can do this, I mean, any of y'all can do it. Trust me. Keep safe out there. Just make sure you're taking care of yourselves. And just a little PSA, if you do wear a mask, don't think that you're safe with that. And if you do have a mask and you wear it around, either A, throw it away and put on a new one, or you need to desanitize it, guys. I mean, because you're just bringing all that crap back in and you're just putting it right back on. All right? Stay safe out there, and I'll see everybody in the next one. Peace.